Welcome back to the Modern Dad Show. I'm Chandru.
I'm Carl Lyons.
And we are Modern Dads. Our topic for today's discussion is...
Well, food, actually, but specifically food at school for our kids, I think. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to start by telling you that I've got this insane routine that I've got to do with our kids because they used to have school dinners, and they complained so much about it. The pester power kind of got to me at the end of the day, essentially. So now they're on packed lunches.
Right.
So my morning routine is not only putting breakfast together for 3 kids, that all have different requirements, by the way, is I've got to make a packed lunch for 2 of them, and there are some days when they've got an after-school club and I've got to put a snack pack together.
Wow.
So my mornings are absolutely insane on the subject of food. It's absolutely crazy.
As I said in, I think it was episode 2.
I've got 3 kids, so, that's a big number,
well,
actually.
That was your decision. You should have thought about this stuff.
Apparently, yeah.
Why are you having packed lunches when your kid's school offers lunch?
Well, good question.
Thank
And my preference would be for them to have a hot meal at school every single day. That would be my preference. But they were coming back and saying, look, the food's terrible, I've not eaten anything. So there's something here about the quality of food. Right. And if I'm honest, I just didn't believe the kids.
But it's 3 different kids. They don't sit and eat together, I don't think. So
no, they don't.
It begs the question: is it the food or is it their palate? I mean, what do you serve for breakfast? Caviar and.
You mean you don't?
Maybe it's a palate thing. If it's all 3 of your children.
We found that the food wasn't so great. So I don't think it was just the palate. I think it was the fact that there was more than our kids complaining about it. So there was something about the quality of food. So there was this little bit of competition with other kids that had packed lunches. So little Sally would come in with her
foie gras,
it'd be pate sandwiches and quail's eggs and things like that. So our kids would come back and say,
that's what our kids eat, don't they?
Yeah. Well, nice. Yeah. Our kids were there with their corned beef sandwich or whatever it was, thinking, hold on a minute,
right.
What are my parents doing to me?
You know what, corned beef sandwich, they have it good because when I was growing up, I had fried spam, which I loved. And today I taste it's disgusting.
Yeah.
No offense to spam lovers, but it is disgusting.
Yeah.
But, and now you've got people being, parents being considerate and preparing food freshly in the morning.
Yeah.
And it just gets all thrown away because
absolutely.
Someone's got a Tesco's donut with horse meat in it.
That's exactly it, yeah. So there's this little bit of competition that crept in, actually. So, when the kids came back and they were saying, well, such and such is getting this for lunch and why can't I have the same?
Well, you know what, I'm going to love doing this.
So I think that's a real opportunity in many ways. So I think there's a bit of an opportunity there, there are opportunities in the middle of that somewhere. And that's been an opportunity to say...
It's an opportunity, actually.
There's a teaching opportunity.
Thank you
and
so much.
You can tell your kids, that's not what we do. That's what Sally does in her house, but that's not what we do in our house. And when Sally brings her lunchbox and opens up, you can tell her to foie gras off, right?
Yeah, right.
There's a learning opportunity there. Is it a case of they've got something nicer?
When you describe it as being nicer, maybe it is.
Maybe
they
try
it's easier. But maybe it's easier in the sense that they give the kids something that they know that they'll eat, and that often... translates to something that's snacky based, maybe sugar based, and the hard thing here is it's not just about nicer; it's about something that's nutritionally balanced and training their palate, like you're suggesting.
Their friend has a Lola's cupcake.
Exactly, yeah. And when you find out it's not been eaten because of that comparison at school, that's pretty disappointing.
I personally like the fact that they're school lunches because when it's packed lunches, there's a very limited amount of food we can make.
Yeah.
Because, they're sensitive to what they want to eat and you want to make sure they eat. So you just sort of make almost the same thing day in and day out.
Yeah.
Over there, you might have a couple of days where you struggle, but then when they're at school, they see their friends eating something and then they try something new. And at least that way they expand their palate.
Yeah, and I think you're right. There's some consequences of getting this wrong, isn't there? Right. So in the short term, if they don't eat lunch, cranky, but they're not learning so well in the afternoon either. And what happens with us very often is that if they've not eaten a good lunch, as you've just described, you pick them up, you know they're cranky, but then you end up giving them snacks and stuff that's not necessarily that good for them. So I think getting this profile right of the right food at the right time for the kids is a really, really big issue.
It's going to affect their education as well, because if they have lunch and they go for classes afterwards and they haven't had their lunch, they're not going to do well, and then you've got this other can of worms. Yes, they should have school lunches. It's better for them to sort of adjust and figure things out. But then there are exceptions to the rule if the food is, of poor quality, or maybe even the hygiene issues with the caterers.
Yeah. Well, there's all kinds of stuff, isn't there? So I'm ending up with this insane routine right at the beginning of the day.
And you've got pets as well, don't you?
I've got pets as well. Now we could combine that, kind of kill the pets off, put those on a sandwich, and you know what? Happy days.
What I do is I make sure he has a good breakfast.
Yeah.
And then when he comes home from school, he'll have 2 more meals. So as soon as he's out of school, we'll feed him again.
Right.
And then dinner time. So I know he's got 3 good meals in him.
Okay.
So that's the way I sort of circumvent that. And whatever else he eats at school is pretty much a bonus.
Okay. So you're kind of writing off the school meal, basically.
When he's older and he needs a proper lunch to be able to concentrate, I haven't figured out what I'm going to do then.
Just to make sure that they're eating something that, is good for them, and they've got that afternoon session where they can actually continue to learn. You've got to do something about it.
Maybe you need to speak to Sally's parents, right?
Right.
And say, can you stop giving her the foie gras and just give her some corned beef sandwich? Maybe you need to coordinate with other parents to take away the whole sort of competitiveness or
maybe that's what this is all about. This is public service broadcasting.
Sally's parents, stop with the fancy food and the Lola's cupcakes.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
That it is, Thanks
You're
for
welcome.
that. Yeah, well delivered.
Yeah. Well, those are our thoughts. We'd love to hear yours.
Yeah.
And thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in. Get in touch. Let us know what you think, and speak to you again soon. One of those horse meat donuts is, they're difficult to compete with, aren't they, to be honest? Yeah, it's brilliant.